Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Welcome to our study of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth, John Maxwell's book. We will let everybody catch up with the fact that we are live and online. Good morning, everyone. We're going to jump right in as soon as everyone catches up with the fact that we started the show. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, Kelly. We are doing a 15-episode study of John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. It looks like this. You can purchase it on Amazon.com. I am a member of the John Maxwell team, so I am able to watch some videos of John Maxwell teaching this live at certain parts of his career. I've been privy to listening to him do a 2-hour talk right after he launched the book, so I have some added insights from just a regular person reading the book. So I thought that we would start on Coffee Chat doing studies of books, because I feel like it's more like a class, and I feel like will bring you a little bit more value, and it's something that you can put in your hands and read along with us. To that end, we do have a private Facebook group called Warrior Mindset, and that is where we are dropping conversations all throughout the week about the book. I'm going to turn on the audio before I forget. So again, welcome to the Coffee Chat show. We are studying John Maxwell's 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. We are on chapter 2. If you missed chapter 1, you can go back and you can catch it on YouTube. You can catch it on the audio podcast. You can also go onto the Working Warrior Mom Facebook page or Revealing Leaders Facebook page and catch it in the video section. Just a little note about our social media these days. We are, Jude needs the link for the group, Tracy. Jude, I think Tracy just dropped it in the comments. It's called Warrior Mindset. So, let's see. We are posting a couple times a day on the Working Warrior Mom. We are posting a little bit more frequently on Revealing Leaders. And I am doing a lot of stuff on LinkedIn these days because it just meshes better with what I'm doing for what I do for a living. So you can follow me on LinkedIn, and it's Noelle Federico on LinkedIn. So please come and follow me on LinkedIn. We're doing a lot there on leadership and how to run a good company, how to take care of your employees, how to be a good leader, a good manager, all that kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that I'm delving into in the work arena. So come on over and follow me on LinkedIn, and make sure you follow Revealing Leaders on Facebook as well. And if you want to engage with us during the week and talk about the books that we're going to be working on in Coffee Chat, please ask to join the Warrior Mindset Facebook group, because we are in there, and I do go in there several times a week, as does Tracy's in there every day. So we can have active conversations with you about this material in that private Facebook group. I'm not going to do all that on the public page. There's about 1.5 million people that follow the public page. But of course, there's only a small bunch of you that are actually engaged, with Coffee Chat show and the things that we're doing. So we wanted to break that out into a little bit of a smaller group so we can actually have some conversations. So the first law was the law of intention. And that's what we covered last week, the law of intentionality, which said you have to be intentional about your growth. Growth as a human being just doesn't happen. It just doesn't fall on your head out of the sky. You've got to be intentional about it. So we took a break last week because I had a speech to give on Saturday morning. So I had tasked you guys, if you were up for it, with making an intentional plan for your growth. Like, what does that look like? Is there classes you want to take? Is there, you want to join a gym? Is there, what are you doing? How are you intending to grow yourself ending this year and into the new year? Like, are you starting to look at plans for the new year and making yourself a real plan for how you want to grow? So the second law in John Maxwell's book is the law of awareness. Armina is asking if we can post the book. It's available on Amazon, Armina. It is the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. We're directing most people over to Amazon to get themselves a paperback copy of it. I think it's about, I don't know, I want to say it's about $10. Okay, so the law of awareness says you must know yourself to grow yourself. And Erica says she has so much that she wants to do, but making a plan is the hard part. Let's talk about making a plan first before we jump into the second law. So making a plan is just getting conscious about it, right? Get a pad of paper, get a pen, and write down some ideas about what you might want to do to grow yourself in 2023. And a good plan is a movable plan, right? It's always changing. It's ever changing. So it's not like you're going to write this plan for 2023 and then it's not going to change. You might write a bunch of stuff down today, for instance. You might wake up tomorrow morning and say, oh, I thought I wanted to take that class, but I've decided I don't want to do that. I want to read those books, but I'm going to add this one. So we'll call it a working plan, right? It's not like you're going to write it and set it in stone. So don't stress yourself out about having the perfect plan or writing it in the perfect way. Just start writing stuff down. And give you some examples, like what do you want to read in 2023 that could forward the action of your life? What do you want to study in the area of your health and wellness? Do you want to start taking a yoga class? Do you want to learn how to breathe better? Do you want to learn some techniques for reducing stress? Like these are all ways to grow. Do you want to learn how to cook something different? Do you want to take a cooking class? Do you want to learn a foreign language? It's the areas of growth are vast. It's the intentionality that matters. It's forcing yourself to take a look at, okay, we're going to start another year, 2023. And by this time next year, what do I want to have under my belt? What do I want to have learned? I want to have learned how to bake 3 new things. I want to have read, 4 books. I want to have watched 3 video series that forward the action of my life. I want to have joined masterclass. I want to have taken yoga. I'm just throwing things out there. So could look like anything, right? Your growth you don't have to hate it. It can be things that you want to do, that you would love to do. I want to go to the library 1 day a week to check out the books that are there and see if there's anything new that I want to study. Like that's a plan for intentional growth, right? You're going to get yourself to the library and see what's going on there. So again, for those of you that are just joining us, you've only missed the first week, which was the law of intentionality. And you can go back and pick it up on video and then start joining along with us live. If you want to have discussions about the material during the week, join the Warrior Mindset private Facebook group. There are only a couple hundred people in it so far, about 187. I'm not even sure how many of them are active with it, but we're trying to encourage you to join that private group and then talk to me about the material during the week, and also to Tracy. We are both resources, and Kim as well. We are all resources here to help you. So use that opportunity of that private group. There's no charge or fee for this class or the group. It is my give back. And it is up there just for you to use for your growth. Part of your growth plan for, part of your growth plan for 2023 could be watching Coffee Chat Show and following along with the books that we're going to use. I will map out the books that we're going to use for 2023. So Erica, Tracy just dropped that link. So it's in the comment section, the Warrior Mindset. So for those of you listening on audio or watching the YouTube version of this later, the name of the group is Warrior Mindset, and it is a group that's attached to the Working Warrior Mom Facebook page. So if you go to that page and go under groups, you'll find it there. You do have to ask to be admitted. We just check you out, make sure you're a real person and not a fake profile. And you also have to agree, that you'll respect people and not be malicious and things like that. So we ask you to just agree to some things before we let you join the group. And we do moderate the group, tightly. So we're really looking to use that group for you to use it as an open resource, like a class, to talk to me, to ask questions, to talk to each other, to really work this material. The way that this material is going to make a difference for you is actually do something with it. We also have a newsletter. If you go to thecoffeechatshow.com and click join the newsletter, that's where you'll get the schedule for the Coffee Chat shows. You'll get the book topics that are coming up in 2023, so you can pre-order the books. And that's where you can find out the latest and greatest about what we're up to with the content. All right, so the law of awareness says in order to grow yourself, you must know yourself, which means you really have to. The question I'm always asking you is, what do you want? Do you know what you want to do? I was listening to John Maxwell teach this live on stage, teach lesson 2. I was watching a recording of that yesterday. Again, for those of you that don't know, I am a member of the John Maxwell team, which means that I have a license to teach this material, and I also have the ability to watch John Maxwell, and I've been able to watch him teach this book. I've also been able to listen to a 2-hour seminar that he did, a 2-hour call right after he launched the book, which talked about why he wrote it and why he thinks it's important. So that's just kind of a cool aspect. So just gives me a little bit more of an understanding of the material than if I just picked up the book and read it. Not all of the books that we do in Coffee Chat Show will be John Maxwell books, by the way. So we will choose some different things as we go along, and I will pick those for 2023 soon, I promise you. And Tracy's going to remind me to do that. Okay. So John Maxwell said yesterday, whenever I was watching him teach this thing, it was yesterday afternoon. He said he's always amazed when he asks people, do you love what you do? And he's always amazed by the amount of people that say no. And he says that it's shocking to him how many people say no, that they don't like what they're doing. And he says he can't believe that so many people are doing what they don't like. And he says, why would someone want to go every day to a place and do something that they hate? Why would they want to be unhappy doing something that they don't love? He fails to understand, how that can be. Now, being a single mom and having raised Antonio for, 18 years by myself, I get sometimes you got to do stuff you don't really want to do because we got, you have to feed your kid. We've got to feed the kids. We've got to pay the bills. So sometimes you're doing something maybe that you don't love. Now, my response to that, which is not included in this book, so always I'm going to be giving you my take of the material that we're studying, right? So I'm going to be, obviously I'm reading this stuff and I'm preparing to speak to you about it, but I'm also giving you my take on it. I do believe that you can change your attitude about anything that you're in the middle of. So, I'm a firm believer in knowing what you'd like to do and starting to set some intentions and plans about doing what you really want to do and what you would love to do. You can also continue to do whatever it is that you're doing and change your attitude about that so that you bring a blessing and bring a positive attitude to it, and then it has the ability to change, right? Because Wayne Dyer has a quote that says, when you change the way that you look at things, the things you look at change. So if you have a job that you do not particularly care for and you have to go to it every day right now, you have the ability to change your attitude about that and put it into a different perspective for yourself so that you're not miserable and complaining and toxic on a daily basis, and so that you are, kind of blessing the opportunity that you have. And here's the thing, whatever you're grateful for, you'll increase that. So if you're grateful for the opportunity that you have, you'll get more opportunities, right? If you are in a job right now that you don't particularly love and you're angry about going there and pissed off, like you're not helping yourself or anybody else, right? That is that's toxic, and it doesn't do anything good for anybody, especially you. So let's talk about being aware of yourself, the law of awareness. What would you love to do? What do you like to do? What do you want to do? Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What are your interests? What opportunities do you have? What opportunities do you want to create for yourself? You have to know, and this goes right along with what we're always constantly talking about in Coffee Chat, is you can't change anything about anything until you are honest with yourself about where you're at and where you want to go. So the law of awareness says you've got to know yourself. You've got to know what you want to do. So let's just give you a clean sheet of paper in your notebook and ask you the question, what would you like to do? If you could do anything in the world, what would you like to do? What would you like to do? And then, do you have the talents and opportunities and skills? Do you possess all those things to back up what you want to do? And if not, is that something that you want to work on in your growth plan? Do you want to go get yourself the skills to do what it is that you think that you really want to do, right? So it's like, what do you want? What do you really want to be doing? Do you possess all the things that you require to do that? And if the answer is no, are you willing to go level up to get those skills? And if you're not, then obviously you've got to choose something else, right? So for instance, if what you really want to do is be an astronaut, is that realistic? I mean, how old are you? Could you still go through astronaut training? Can you get to NASA? Do you have the opportunity to do that? Could you create the opportunity to do that? So lots of times you'll have a dream or a wish, and then you really have to look at, can you realistically back that up so that you can create it for yourself? Because, if I want to be an astronaut, I'm 54 years old. It's probably pretty unlikely that that's going to happen at this point. So if I just sat around being hostile because I wasn't an astronaut and I really wanted to be one, then I'm really kind of setting myself up to fail, right? I'm setting myself up to be defeated because I'm choosing this dream that, is a little far out there for my skill set, my abilities at this point in my life, what I've been studying, where my career experience is. So you see what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be a dream killer here. However, there is a realistic component to your dreams and your wishes, right? When it comes to your career or what you want to do for a living. So, what do you want to do? Do you have the skill sets and the background and the ability to do whatever that is? And if the answer to that is no, then I suggest you sit again with the question called, what do I want to do? You can create your own reality, yes. There has to be some level of reality in your creation, right? Tracing, it's reminding us in this book, John Maxwell talks about whatever it is that you want to do, go find somebody that's doing that already successfully and then learn from them. Whether it's, somebody that wrote a book about it or a human being. And if you are able to put yourself in a mentoring relationship with someone, he gives you some rules to, being in a mentoring relationship. I'm not really going to take our time today to go through that. That's something that you can kind of read on your own. I feel like you're all adults. You should know how to be in a good relationship with someone where there's give and take if someone was mentoring you in something. However, in those pages where he's talking about mentoring, he's talking about these things in regard to being in a mentoring relationship. Tracy and I noted that these particular things are important for anything that you're doing with your life, any plan that you have. Get committed, be consistent, be creative, be purposeful, be reflective, be grateful, right? Those of you that are dropping stuff about your jobs and what you might want to do and talking about that, go into Warrior Mindset and you can ask us questions and then I can actually respond to you. And Tracy can as well. So again, if you really want to work with this material and you want some support, you want to talk it through these different things, get into the Warrior Mindset private Facebook group, and then we can have conversations in there. It's a private group and it's a more protected environment, and I am in there almost every day. Tracy is in there every day, and we are actively monitoring that for questions that you might have and talking to you about the material that I'm teaching every Saturday morning. So when you're looking at a plan for your life, when you're looking at your growth plan, and then your growth plan marries right into the law of awareness, because you need to know yourself to grow yourself. So if you have this growth plan that isn't congruent with what it is that you want to do, or the skills that you want to acquire, or the things that you want to learn, those two things have to work together, right? They have to mesh. They have to mesh. So when you're working on any kind of a plan, when you're working on a change for your life, when you're working on any growth endeavor for yourself, you want to get committed to that. You want to be consistent with it. Be creative, right? Because you want to, if you're going to change your life and you're going to start doing something that you love, be creative about what that might be. If you love to work with children, like, what skills do you have? What skills would you need? Are you willing to go gather those skills to do that? If you are an artist, would you like to be an art teacher if you want to work with children? Those kinds of questions. Committed, consistent, creative, purposeful, reflective, always grateful, right? We're coming up on Thanksgiving. Great opportunity to remember to be grateful. So this is worth spending some time on, as is your growth plan. How do you want to grow yourself over the next year? What do you really want to do with your life? Do you possess the talent, skills, background, resources? Is it realistic? Whatever it is that you would like to do, is that within your realm of possibility? And if it isn't, then maybe it requires some rethinking. Check your motives for doing what you want to do, right? It should never be about the money. It should be about fulfilling your passion, whatever your passion is. You've got to be passionate about what you do. You have to feel fulfilled in that. There's a quote by somebody, and I can't remember who it is, but it says, do what you, might be Terry Whitaker, I'm not sure. It's do what you love and the money will follow, right? Once you establish what it is that you want to do, and that you do have a realistic perspective of what that looks like, then what steps do you have to take to get there? What does your growth plan have to look like for 2023 in order for you to get to where you want to go? Who does what you do, and how can you learn from them? Do they have a master class? Have they written books? Can you read them? Do they have any classes out on the internet? Do they have a certification program that you can take? So what is it that you want to do? Is that realistic? Are you willing to put in the work to get it done? What does your growth plan have to look like over the next year to make this a reality, whatever it is that you are passionate about, that you really want to be doing? Look at, what it's going to cost you. If there's training involved, do you have the resources? Are you willing to make the sacrifices? What strengths of character will you need to build on to get that done? Be honest with yourself when you're looking at this, right? Because the way to make and create a change for yourself is to give yourself a reality check. So, first of all, you've got to answer that question, what do you want? And once you answer that question, the next question to that is it realistic enough, right? Like it might be a stretch, but is it like I want to be an astronaut stretch? Or is it I want to be a leadership trainer stretch when I already have a lot of background of obviousness in leadership and coaching and all of that? And then, you know, over the last year, I polished my skills so that I could become more of a leadership consultant and trainer in the work that I do, right? So I went over this last year and I took 5 certificates from Harvard Business School and I took 1 from Yale. And I became certified as a professional coach. Then I became certified as a master professional coach. Then I became certified as a DISC practitioner, Wiley DISC. Then I joined the John Maxwell certified team. So I did this for myself last July. I said to myself, okay, what do I really want? I wanted to build a training wing for Delta Hire. We are a recruiting staffing company, and I wanted to launch and build an additional training and consulting wing to help companies be better to their employees, and really work on company culture, leadership training, all of that. And so I asked myself, what skills do I need to polish to make that happen? And then I set a growth plan for myself. And I knocked it out. And now I'm looking at, okay, so what's my growth plan for this next year? So it is possible, but what I wanted was within my skill set already, within my realm of possibility. I had the time, I had the resources, you know, so I set forth a path for myself. Everybody thought I was crazy. They thought I was trying to do much too much within about a year and 2 months. But I know myself. And I know when I want to go after something, I'm going to chase that shit down. So I did it. I knocked it out. I've got 1 more piece left of the John Maxwell stuff that comes up in March. And I only have to wait for that because they only do it twice a year. So, you know, this was something this was doable for me. It was a stretch, yes. It was a discipline, yes. It was pushing myself, yes. However, it wasn't like, oh, I want to go be an astronaut. Well, how the hell am I going to do that? Okay? So ask yourself, what do you want? Ask yourself, how can you get there? Ask yourself, do you possess the skills and are you able to get the resources? Are you able to put your hands on whatever you need? And it could be reading a bunch of books. It could be doing master classes. It doesn't have to cost you money. It is going to take time and discipline on your part and consistency and creativity, right? You're going to have to be purposeful. You're going to have to be reflective. You're going to have to reflect on everything that you've done before and in regards and in relation to what you want to do now. This isn't rocket science, you guys. What do you want? I don't think enough of you ask yourself this question. What do you really want out of your life? What do you want to do? What are you passionate about? How do you want to grow yourself? Okay? The first law and the second law, they have to work like this. What is my growth plan? What am I wanting to do? What do I need to become aware of about myself in order to do it? And then the plan comes out of that. Okay? So, again, we are studying John Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. We have now covered Law 1 last week. We have just gone over Law 2. We will be on to Law 3 next week, which is the Law of the Mirror, and we will be with you next Saturday morning. For more information about us, you can check out thecoffeechatshow.com. And if you want to interact with the material during the week, please join the Warrior Mindset. Ask to join the Warrior Mindset Facebook group, and we will let you in there. And then you can actively talk to us about the material and the chapters. Okay, so if you haven't grabbed yourself a copy of the book, I recommend that you do so. It looks like this. You can get it on Amazon. Again, join our newsletter for the updates of the books that we're going to be covering and where to get them and how to buy them and how to join the Warrior Mindset Facebook group, all of those things. So you guys have a great rest of the weekend. Really grab your notebook, okay? And start looking at this. Like, what do you want? And what are you willing to do about it? And what's the plan over the next year to get there? What's the plan? And it doesn't mean that you can't change the plan as we're moving along, right? The plan is going to change. Just at least start the plan. All right. We will see you next Saturday morning. You can visit us at thecoffeechatshow.com. See you soon.